Oh, I want the Dan Hooker experiment to work so bad. So badly, I want everything to go Hooker's way. Now, back up on Hooker. This is the number 5 guy in the world at 155 pounds. This is the same guy who main evented shows opposite Paul Felder. He main evented shows opposite Dustin Poirier. This is a straight up hammer. This is a threat to the entire division. I think he was 1 win away from fighting a world championship. I do think Dan Hooker, had he got the jump on Michael Chandler, would have been for a world championship. But I have for sure proven my point. This is an awesome fighter. Co-main event to Izzy versus Whitaker, which holds to this day the live gate record in history of our industry of 57,000. I mean, this is a very meaningful guy. He's going to change weight class. I remember as soon as I heard that going, yes, good. I want him at 170. That's great. Hooker's leaving the weight class. Going up to 170. He's got the length. He's going to have the speed. Life's going to be better. He's going to be more comfortable. I'm starting to put the pairings together. I'm seeing Hooker in there with Nick Diaz. I'm seeing him in there with Nate Diaz. I'm getting this whole thing figured out. He went down a weight class. This son of a bitch went to 145. He left his weight class. He went down. How does Dan Hooker make 145? That is impossible. There's no fat on the bone to start with this guy. He's going to go find 10 pounds later in life? Any of you find losing weight easier as you get older? No, of course not. Going to change his physiology. He's going to change his training. Where it was very interesting to me as a Dan Hooker fan is Hooker's in the room with Volkanovski. Now, I'm not one of those guys trying to get 2 friends to fight. What I'm speaking to is I was in Hooker's situation when I was at Team Quest. I got Evan Tanner's the champion of the world. I got Dan Henderson standing right there, is the Pride champion in 2 different weight classes. We got Randy Couture, the champion of the world. We got Matt Lindland's ranked number 1. Didn't have the belt, but had the number 1 ranking. You find out real quick. In 1 day of practice, you know where you stand. So Hooker knows whatever that measuring stick is, he at least knows where he stands at 145 pounds, and he chose this class. Now, is it the right move? Well, that's not for us to say. Hooker has to say, and Hooker did. Hooker said, my coaches did not love the idea of me going down to 145. We went to the PI, we did a bunch of tests to make sure it was safe. I just personally feel I am my most competitive when I weigh 145 pounds. Okay, there's our answer. But it's very relevant that we have that. It's very relevant, if that is true, that introspectively Hooker is being accurate with himself. He can tell us whatever he wants as long as he's being accurate with himself, because I'm a firm believer everybody has a number. It is very rare in life that will ever be tested. How many things can you do on God's green earth? How many things can you do where you have to weigh in before you're allowed to go do it, right? I mean, just right there limits the field where nobody's going to know what their number is. Then once you do that, how many times do you change where that is? Not much. Is it up? Is it down? Is it stay right here? How do you know? It's something you have to do an experiment with. I've shared this with you guys as it pertains to Daniel Cormier. I used to work out with Daniel Cormier all the time at 205 pounds. I grabbed a hold of him once when he was at heavyweight. It was a different guy. That was his number. He found his number, that 250, that 245. That's just where the big bear does his best work, just by example. I think Colby Covington would be a real problem at 185 pounds, but I don't know that. I don't know it till we see it. Jon Jones, very aware that he has a number. Now, he arbitrarily picked his to be 240 pounds. So I'm going to go heavyweight. This is what I need to do. And what Jon studied, if it was other successful guys in the division and that was just their average weight class, or if he just personally thought it for himself, or it's something that his brothers and his team came to a conclusion of, we don't know. But Jon at least does satisfy my premise here, which is that everybody has a number and he's trying to guess his. He won't know until he actually gets there, but I want it to work out for Hooker. A guy that did as hard of work as successfully as he did it later in life, willing to make this sacrifice when his own teammate is the best in all the land. So he knows, and he's telling us it's 145. I want it to be. I want it to be 145. And I'm not even focused on the outcome. I'm focused on the performance. When I watch Hooker this weekend, I'm not going to be looking for the outcome. I think I've made it clear where I stand, who I'm cheering for. But I do want to see that he can perform. I do want to see that his feet move just as well, that his hands are just as fast, that his basics of chin down, shoulders turned. I want to make sure that all those things are being followed, that he can perform, because I don't expect this to be his best performance. It never is. Your first time somewhere, it could be a new organization or a new weight class. Your first time somewhere is never your best. You can still get the outcome that you desired. You can still get victory, but you'll learn things from that moment. And how he's sparring and how he's feeling down at 145 is going to be different from how is he actually going to move, reactive and proactive, once he gets there. So there's a lot on this. I mean, Hooker is going to spring right to the top of the charts with a win. With 2 wins, he's going to be right into the talks of a title fight. Let's see how he does. Perhaps for the Hangman, 145 is his number.